Hey, welcome back to Made of Wires, where we're decompiling Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Working on Richter. I think we're going to work on that function a little bit that we were left with yesterday. I did look at it just a tiny bit, and there's a few things here and there that may or may not be solvable, but we'll take a look and see if there's anything we can do. I do want to figure out what the difference between the PlayStation and PSP version is that I currently have between the two editors. And then we'll get going. If you want to know more about the Castlevania Symphony of the Night decompilation project, you can go to soten.z.dev to learn more. All right, Guest 73 has a PR for Soten Lint. We'll check that out. Hey, Dizek, good to have you back. So let's get going. Yeah, go to soten.z.dev to learn more. I'm a contributor. I don't own the project. I just like contributing. Let's check it out. We're going to go to the source code link at the top. That'll take you to GitHub, and we can see, let's review Guest 73's change, if you don't mind. I'm guessing it's this tooling improvement. No, yeah, I just kept going. I just kept going and going yesterday. Dizek said he missed the last hour of the stream. The fact that there was a last hour was not what I wanted. Let's look at the comment, and then we'll see cleaner code, less cloning. Oh, macro for defining flag and enum transformer types, and so this is actually probably very good. I didn't know much or any Rust when writing a bunch of these originally. I'm not the author of this tool, just somebody who contributes, like all of them. And there probably are things that are definitely not ideal. Some refactoring. Does this is guessing character push versus string push. Using, like I said, we were using an older version of Rust. I guess if this passed, it's probably fine. The way that the build instructions were earlier, I think are we getting Rust? The problem was, I think the version of Ubuntu was originally everything was done on Ubuntu 22, and that had an older version of Rust. Yes, this is good. This is a good change. These were not ideal, so thank you for doing those. I will take a closer look at these later as well. It would be nice to come in and add one of the C references so that we could pull these from the header files instead of having to repeat them, but much nicer. Well, thank you for doing that, Guest 73. Appreciate it. I will take a look at it more closely later on, but it looks good so far. Awesome. Enjoy tooling improvements. I really do. Anything that makes things go faster, I'm a fan of. So we had these two, the PSP and PlayStation versions of these two functions. Somewhere along the line they diverged, and so that's what I'm going to do first, is just figure out what diverged about them. There's no way to diff really between scratches in decomp.me. I'm just going to do it the old-fashioned way, which is to create 2 files. One, I will put the PSP version in, and the other I will put the PlayStation version in, and then we'll diff and see. So this distance change oh, roaming, good to know. You can do a 3-way diff. Is that... I didn't know that that was a thing. Where were options? So I'm having some loading issues here. There's a 3-way. Oh, I see. That's actually pretty neat. Let me refresh this page. I'm not sure why. It looks like when I switch to Ethernet, decomp.me decides it's gonna hate me. Yeah, I totally forgot about the 3-way diff feature here. So which way do I want to do this? I think I'll do it in the PSP version. I had fixed some things in the no, I want to go to the PlayStation version. So the PlayStation version, we're at 98%. That's relatively close. Something in the PSP version I broke along the way, so I want to see what that is. That doesn't look right. What is in my... useless keyword. Yes, that is correct. So this is what is going on? Oh, I must have something. This is the diff between... I see. Okay, I'm wrapping my head around what this means. Okay, so I expected it to be target, current, and then the full output of saved, but it's just the diff on the save side, so that's actually kind of nice. I can dig it. Don't mind that. So registered differences here, not really concerning. There was a fairly big chunk down lower that was different. 222. This may be the order that these were being loaded in, so let's undo 222. No, I don't like this. I don't like bad, wrong. It's just not the way that I think. So I'm gonna do I'm gonna go back to I'm gonna do Vim diff. I like Vim diff. We're gonna have PlayStation on the left, PSP on the right. Okay, so the first one, and what I'm gonna do, I think, as I go through these, I have some idea of which ones I think are right and which ones I think are wrong, and I will be kind of moving them over as I resolve these diffs. The first one is this 10. It's a PSP specific value, so I am going to keep that change because that one is valid, and I think I'll edit it here. Then we'll reload at 120. The ordering of this distance I also think is correct, but this one I'm going to go over to decomp.me and check this out. Hey, Spring Quetzal. Dizik's mentioning the ordering of variables. Yeah, I did mess with that a little bit this morning as well, only to worse effect. There are certainly times where the order of the variables does affect the compilation. And like I said yesterday, I don't always know when that is going to be. I can't predict it. But when it happens, it does seem legitimate. I'm going to go down to 133. And the ordering of the subtraction changed. I did, since yesterday, I was putting these in the same distance x and distance y variables. Those looked on the PSP version as if they were different, so I did change that. So let's find this here. So we're going to, I mean, we can look at the order of the subtraction, if the order of the subtraction looks correct or not. Unfortunately, we're not getting highlights on the subtraction lines, which is not ideal. Here's the other subtraction line way down here. So that ordering seems to be correct. Let's try it over here as well. And again, looking at these subtraction lines, which way are things being subtracted? The S8 register is coming on the right side, and the S8 register is the position X. So that looks correct. Let's try it over here and see if there's complaints. The registers get switched. And if we go back. So this looks like a difference. I think this is a legitimate difference between the two versions. So I'm going to So if we're finding the tangent or the arctan of these values, does the distance end up mattering if it's negative or positive? I don't remember. Supreme Quetzal, you're in calculus. Tell me. If I take the arctan of negated values, does it matter? Okay, so I'm gonna go with that one. We'll take that over here as well. And then in my diff, okay, and then I switch the order of the arguments, and again, that might not be correct. I was trying to work through. Sometimes I find it hard to track registers as I'm going through, but here, what do we want for A0? We want A0 to be negated, and we want it to be offset 48. So I think that's at least the stack position is correct for what we're pulling in. So I'm hoping that it's pos Y. And then arg1 is just the other stack position. So that seems correct. And maybe this is a difference between the two as well. So let's go here and try it. So A0 is coming from S2. That seems fine. And where's A1? Yeah, okay, so these seem backwards now. So maybe distance-wise? And where's this being negated? Where's my A1? Oh, this... Is it flipping these because it knows it's optimizing the negation? Sorry, as I work through these. No, that is not what I wanted. I'm looking for the A1s. A1 is offset 2, so that's actually X. That would be in the opposite order. And which is why I thought that this was going to be X. So is this negating X? Am I reading this incorrectly? This looks better. And A1. And that works out for A1 as well. Is that correct for PSP? No. So are these different as well? Sorry, working through. Again, like these don't seem to be. It is a 0 that's being negated for so yeah, these look different as far as I can tell. So these have to be thrown into the IFDEF as well. It would be interesting, I guess, to go look at if I could find a video of the PSP version of this Richter fight, and if it's considerably different from we don't need 2 calls. So a few register issues. Interesting that S0 and S1 So then the next thing going down is this comparison is out of order. Out of order comparisons do have the ability to affect things. And how is this doing? Still at the same. No change. The ordering looks a little better though. Fine with that. Okay, so then a little further down, 159, we're using the distance variable. Oh, and all this instead of plus equals, it's yeah, done out of order. That's odd as well, but we'll give it a shot. I don't like this 159 construct, but I think I mentioned yesterday that looks fake to me. That made things worse. Doesn't mean it's wrong, just that it's worse. Undo those. Figure out which one, maybe the other one I can keep. We're just going to do one pass through this, and if it doesn't get any better, yeah, no difference there. If it doesn't get any better, then we'll move on to something else. So here distance is being, on PlayStation, the variable distance is being used versus the temp S0 variable over on the PSP. It's around 271. I like the idea of this being distance, but if that's not what it is, then can't do it, so. That is no good. And that causes a lot of issues. So I'm going to go back to the PSP and try that over there. See if it's if it causes strife over here. We were at 95 and that takes us down to 94. What did I do up here? 141. Screwed something up there. Extra RTN. Look at that. Oh, that's very close. 166. The add is out of order. Was this it? Wrong variable on 230. And some more garbage down here on 270. It doesn't like these variables, so let's fix these up top. That might have been. That might have been it. Oh, so now the plus equals is going to work. Random. And by is going to work, I mean it's still not going to work. The variable ordering there is odd. Let's try this. Let's what if we do plus equals here? No, yeah, because we have to store this back somewhere, and if it's on the stack, that's no good. Really, really strange. So there's nothing wrong with this except for the ordering of this edition. And so what are some ways that we can force force the registers the way we want to without causing the loads to be out of order? I don't know offhand. Weird. I would think that just changing the order of those would be the same. 198. Our load here is very wrong. 3C is going to be either the step or params. I'm surprised that hasn't shown up earlier. 3C, oh, hitboxy, not completely wrong. Oh, that's just out of order. Oh, so that's not a huge issue. Move that back. At 98.8%, that's pretty good. Wrong variable here on 210. Need what's at offset 38. It's possible that those are just always, they're consistently wrong. var s4 is what we want. On 210. Yeah, so that is var s4. It just means our var s4 is in the wrong order. Oh, it being at offset 38 suggests that maybe it's a sine 16. And by it being a, sorry, no, that's thinking in decimal. No, that's fine. So it's just out of order by 1. By 2, I mean. So yeah, I can move it to the correct order, but that doesn't really help because it will just screw everything else up. And so there you do see, like, you can affect the stack directly. As I move this variable down, its stack position changes and it goes into the correct place. It's fun when you can do that with registers as well. So it seems like, oh, sorry. I was showing this this S4 variable. I want it to be at stack offset 34. And so if I move it down, I can get it to offset 34. Sorry, it was at 40. I want it to be at 38. Sorry, it's this one here. And so I can move it there, and that's fine. But that's not where it is. So possibly getting some of these other variables that I currently have assigned to registers, that actually might be the way to go. Let's look at this temp S0. I had this as distance earlier. Is it possible that we could get rid of that? Ooh, I don't know. And so, yeah, we're kind of at this same issue here. Our subtraction should be with S8. It looks, but S8 is loaded up on $257, which is RickPause X. And yeah, all these things are just not going into registers the way that I want them to be. But on the other hand, this gives us a hint that this should be 3C, but we're using 5.8. So that probably is the issue because 5.8 is being used correctly and 3C is being used correctly other places. So I need to grab the right variable, and there is no, I don't have anything marked with 3C. So let's find what is being used as 3C. 103. It's just ephemeral. Drat. Oh, maybe 3C was not the stack pointer. That's it was the pointer to entity. So we need 3C on the stack pointer. Let's look for 40 on the stack pointer. Because here we're using the wrong variable there as well. 40 also not there. 40 looks like it would be Richtpause Y. Let's try it. 271. But Richtpause Y is distance X. So we would be moving Richter around. I don't think that's right though either. But possibly, and maybe that's why it's being pulled into a variable. This will get worse until it gets better. That one is different. $270. Yes, okay, I can dig that. Let's 264. 264 is pos X, and so that's why I was referencing that, but that's 4C. And is 4C used again? 4C is used down here. Yeah, so Nate, how's it going? Good to have you back. It's been a while. You got her done? Or get her done. Get her done. How'd the interview go? You got a job working? The other ones, oh, the 3C, and yeah, those are ones that I couldn't get before. 54. All right, so this here again, and so looking at these patterns here, this is one of the ways that I try to. Okay, good to hear. Yeah, you need to get it done. So this is one way that I try to do this, and what I'm actually seeing here is that this isn't necessarily this distance X and distance Y. It looks like it's actually the position X and position Y. What are we storing here on 271? Or no, these are not distance X and distance Y, right? Was that better? And it's not better. What is going on here? So these values are not what I want. Well, I'm gonna go back to the decomp. I think I'm uncaffeinated. Having trouble following the logic. So let's see, where were we? We're after the switch. after the 8 loop. So the reason that the M2C decomp looks like this, I think, is because there is a load of SP40 into a register and then a multiplication of that register by itself. We could go back and check that, and I think M2C is tracking one of those and not the other, because nothing changes between these. Like, it could be an assignment, I guess. It could be this subtraction. It's just a little strange that would be written that way. This does look like Y should come first. And that does look like something happened there. I'm not sure if that, I still don't have a 3C. 3C really should be Rick pause Y. I'm not sure why it's, but there's one more variable in here that I'm missing. Yes. The other piece of this was 292. So this actually is all correct now. So we just have a few things. I actually have stack pointer variables here. Let me try to resolve this down on 307, and maybe this is enough. 307 is our J. So J is coming back as stack pointer 38 when it should be 30. Yes, that just means that there. It seems like I have two. Is there two things out of order? What do I have as? Do I have anything as 30? Close. Okay, I'm gonna grab these. And so most of these are correct. So I'm gonna, this is a mess, but I'm going to, why can't I just select one column? So let's see where S8 is being loaded. So we're subtracting the value of S8. It must have been loaded earlier, and we have S8 on 257. 257 is Richter pause Y. So is it just that these are out of order? So our these stack vars are still wrong, but the rest of that is working out better. So everything's still offset by 8. Actually, these are out of order, and that should resolve those, I think. Yes. So we're getting there. 40, these two are out of order still. So now if I flip these back, here we're storing to 58, aka 40. So I should be moving that into argument 1. Is this gonna be it? Is this gonna be it? Not quite. Okay, negating, which one are we negating? S2. That looks correct. Why? So my order is wrong. A1 should be distance X. Yes. That's what I had before, I thought. So why are we... Why is the load happening in the wrong order? Oh, we're so close. We're so close. How does this look on the PlayStation? I don't even want to know. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna cry. Is that better or worse? It's better. Oh, we're so close. We're so close. Like 3 registers away. My guess is that some of these, somewhere in here, I'm assigning to variables like this prim x and pos x. What is the point of those? And why are they? Oh, because they're being mutated along the way. So yeah, that needs to exist. Okay, I'm fine with that. Is it possible that distance x and y are Rick pos x and y? Does that make sense? No, that doesn't make sense because then those would be mutated. We can't do that either. Oh, we're so close. We're so close. What if we negate so the negation happens to S2. What if we do this? What if we, instead of negating it, we do times -1? Is that going to change the order? Nope. What other ways can we get something into a register, so what I want to do is just make sure that all these stack offsets are the same. And I think I've checked already. I don't have a 3C specifically. As far as I can tell, Richtpause Y should be going into 3C, but it's not. It is going into the distance Y register. And let me check one more time just to make sure that 3C isn't being used elsewhere. It is, but it's just a oh, chat. I think I might have an idea. This isn't what I was expecting. No, this can't work. This can't work. I was going to take these and do them inline, but it can't work, like I said. Because we need these later on down here. All right. What if this is prim X and prim Y? Did we talk about that? I think we might have talked about it. I think there's a suggested this. That's worse. So what does this do? What does the ordering do or change? Unfortunately, this never gets stored back to, it gets stored to a register. It gets stored to register S2. That's what's happening here. It's ephemeral, so that's fine. That's what's expected. Whatever that stack value though is, oh no, this is our 282. So this is wrong. 34 versus 3C. 34 we think is SP30. But SP30 is showing up again 8 bytes later. So there's 8 bytes getting pushed to the stack. That shouldn't be. We need the 8 bytes. Could this be like a struct? Yeah, I tried the distance y equals negative distance y trick. The problem is because it's because MetroWorks has assigned this to a stack position. Every time you do a store to it, it's going to write back to that stack position. So if I don't know, so we're going to get another, and it's going to load back from the stack too. It doesn't keep anything cached. So we get an extra load, and then in this case it's a move, I guess. But that fixes everything. Let's look at it on the PlayStation and see, because this was basically working on the PlayStation. Let's see what ends up being wrong over here. 970 is somewhat good. We have one register issue up on 42. We don't select that register, so that's not an option. 68 and 70, same thing. So there is, yeah, okay, so there's still a bunch of register issues here. So there's something wrong. It would be nice if there was at least one non-register issue. but I don't see anything obvious. It is possible that we would have a header for the ATN call, so I can make sure that I have the function signature there. That won't affect the PlayStation though. It would affect the PSP. I'll do that just to rule out any cases. Yeah, the function signature is there. So why are distance y and x used anywhere else? They're used up here. And are we getting the same stack values for them here? We must not be. 123. So here we're storing to offset 54. Put down on 271. These are different variables. They're different variables. Okay, so there's yet another set of XY coordinates that we don't have. That look like they're gonna go right here. Having many variables is not a common thing in this code base, so it's a little surprising that these would be so duplicated. It's not perfect, but very close. Immediates. Ooh, is this it? Maybe it is perfect. It is. Is it? Oh. No, this one. Why? Oh, duh. Maybe this will work now. Maybe this will work. Come on. Oh, no! You stupid game. Okay, so the operand order is wrong. Changing the operand order changes the load order. How could this be so dumb? Oh, thank you. Dizik pointed out that I was missing another X up here. So this is bonkers. We need these flipped. If we flip them, the load changes. Or the load order changes. Everything else, is everything else correct? Everything else in this stupid function is correct except for that. So it's kind of 50-50 is my guess as to whether this is going to work on the PlayStation. My guess is it will. And maybe I'll just move on with my life. And no, it doesn't work on the PlayStation. This is actually good. Because this might give us a hint. Or maybe it is going to work on the PlayStation. Hey, PlayStation, don't care. Nope. 275. We're in the... So we're in the same predicament. The ordering is, oh, because thank you, Dizik. Thank you. I know you've been probably screaming at your chat box. Streamer is an idiot. Streamer don't know nothing. It's true. It's true. Did that do it? Did that fix the 169 issue? I bet it did. My own stupidity and incompetence. No! It's still right. Why did it work though? Why did this work? Oh, it didn't. Good. I'm glad that this didn't work. That makes me happy. Maybe this will fix it. So our negation goes to A0. Why do you hate me, compilers? Okay, we're putting Y into A0 and X into A1. We're negating A1. Yes? No, we're negating A0. Are we negating both? No, we're not negating both. Why? 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 Okay, so same issue that was happening earlier, but all the registers are fixed. So that's good, yay. Why are we doing this? Why is this move interleaved? Nobody knows. Oh, so Dizik's suggesting maybe we don't know the signature. I think that's how I'm taking that. So yeah, let's try to get rid of the signature. Maybe we don't have it. Look at that. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Now, this happens. I checked the opposite case, but not that one. What about our 169 snafu? Still broken. Still broken. Okay, so let's do that. Function signatures definitely impact, like I've said, they impact. Don't copy the context. Metro works more so than GCC. Is this fine? So not fine. Still a few issues. So there's still something not quite right, and we should be able to figure it out actually, or not. You know, whatever. 270 up here. Prim Y load is being used, but it this subtraction? Oh, I don't think we can prove that. What's going on? 277. It looks like this might be assigned before the shift right is applied. Let's look at the PSP one more time on that. All that worked out to be correct on the PSP. And usually if it was obvious that this was being assigned twice, or if it was being assigned twice, it would be obvious that that's what was happening. But let's look just in case. There is an assignment back to S6 here. So let's do this. We're going to take the float to I out and then do that on a different line. That still works. It ended up using the same registers. Little surprised that it chose S6 when this was all inlined. And that resolved this issue. Is that what resolved it? No, that was resolved before. Okay. And then our 169, is that still broken? I don't see why it wouldn't be. Yeah, it's still broken. So let's check that on PlayStation. That was it. So I think, out of order 296. If this is easy. So we have an addition here. I think it's just the prim X. Odd that these wouldn't look the same. That was it. But this could actually affect allocation on PSP. Oh, look at that. That was terrible. What did it not like? It didn't like that. Oh, okay, so let's... So weird. So weird. Compilers are weird, and I hate them. So I think what's happening, and I'm going to try this, and hopefully it'll work. We're negating this value and then adding prim y, and I think, yeah, okay. So it chose to put the constant register, or constant, the non-ephemeral value, the value from the stack on one side, and not the other. So in this case, the order of the operands to that addition did not change anything at all. That's weird. Bad, wrong. So we're still at 140 here. So we do have a match on the PlayStation. And I'm gonna go with that. Let's look at what differences we have here. Those are value differences, so they're really the thing. Switching these two around is strange. And then the negation is switched. And so I wonder if this is what's causing that other issue. And it's right around that 169. So let's play around with this a little bit and see if we can get this to work on the PSP. Quickly. I'm glad that this seems like it's going to work. So because we're storing this back to a register, or the stack in this case, 4C, I don't see how we could invert the subtraction like it's done here, even if we're negating it later. So on the other hand, could the PlayStation do this and do the right thing because the optimizer knows that it's right? Let's try that. All it would do is get rid of this distinction between the two versions of the game. I don't think it'll get the PSP any closer to doing the right thing. Because this isn't going to be used until the RTAN call anyway. I'm going to try to get rid of this and see. A lot of times when other things work, even when code didn't work before. Yeah, okay, so that works. So that wasn't a real difference. It was just because other things were broken that needed to be put in place. There are a couple other things in here that may or may not matter. So, like getting rid of the sine and cosine. Where are we? We're here where the issue is taking place. I'm gonna try the plus equals one more time. Now that everything else is resolved. And the order goes wrong. What is the order down here? So in, if we look at what's happening in the instructions for this subtraction line, what if we subtract the negated version? Will that make this an add? No. So we look at this line on 164, we're loading the value of pos y val, that's this load here, from, sorry, we're loading the temp v0 underscore 7 value. It's from the stack pointer. Then we're loading the pos y val value, which is offset 4 from a0, which is a self. Then we're loading another thing. What is this? Oh, we're loading a0 first. Duh. A0 is self. We're loading that from the stack. Then we're loading its value in this second line. So we're loading pos y val in these two lines here, putting them in register v0. Then we're loading the temp v0 underscore 7 value. Next, putting that in v0. Doing the subtraction and storing the result in v0, and then assigning it back to pos y at the end. So the first thing we do is load self. Load self. And then we load in the other one, we were loading pos y val. And that's what we're doing here, except pos x val. But that's the same order. In here we're loading self. But then we're loading the stack value for S5. And then we're loading. So that makes it seem like this is a plus the so the compiler's coming in, it's saying, what are my prerequisites for doing this? I have a pointer that I need to resolve eventually. Okay, so go grab the value of that pointer, stick it in a register. Now I need to figure out my operands. One of the operands is on the left, and that one is this stack value. Okay, so go load that stack value. The other operand is an offset into that pointer. Okay, go load that offset into that pointer, and then add those two things together. That's kind of how I read it. What? This is going to be terrible, and I'll hate it if this is true, but what if it evaluates parentheses first? Hey, dig down deep. Switch them around. Yeah, I have been switching them around. I would love to switch them around. I wish that worked. So I either get the loads wrong or I get the operand order wrong. So what do? Oh, this is not gonna work. I was gonna say, what if we do temp plus equals there? Yeah, because that's gonna throw another store in there, and we don't want that either. Isn't that what it was? That's 0. All right, so so what other ways can we change the order of operands without changing with the do while 0, of course. This does not impact MetroWorks in quite the same way. I think I'm going to leave this as an unsolved mystery. If anybody wants to go look at this scratch, I will paste it into chat. Feel free to fork. And see if you can figure out operand ordering. We do have a cheat sheet about this on GitHub. Where are we in? I don't know if this one will show up there. Yeah, I mean, something like that. The only problem, so Dizik suggested doing temp_s0 underscore 5 equals self x plus equals temp_s0 underscore 5. You need the store then, and so it's a dead store. If it was GCC, or if the optimizer was turned on, the optimizer would say it's a dead store, nobody uses this value, I'm not actually going to do that work, and that's fine. But in this case, the optimizer is turned off, and MetroWorks is going to just store everything and expect for a later pass. I feel like somewhere we have a, like, these are weird things that happen. Register mismatch. Not move. Yeah, this one doesn't cover it. Okay, so if anybody knows what it is or wants to suggest ideas, I'll definitely try them. But I'm happy that we got the PlayStation version done, and let's go take that and make sure that it works. Knowing that the I don't think I have this open yet. This is 63. That PSP is going to fail if the function signatures there are interesting, but it's pretty common. So I don't think it needs to be called out especially. That's the wrong function. Those are frustrating, but I'm not pedantic about it. PSP will have its day, and that day is not today. So BO6 failure. Big one. Let's make sure that there's no well, we're not matching, which is a bummer. So a match, I'm just making sure that I don't have these redeclared in some other way. And I'm gonna revert this. Make sure that this does compile. It does compile correctly. All right, one more time. Just because there was that PSP failure in there as well. Oh, I think it had to do with the PSP failure. I think something, the splat config becomes a dependency for several assets, and those assets are going to possibly depend on either or both of those splat configs. So I think that's ultimately was what the issue was there. So the PlayStation version of this does work. I might make a comment just in here about the PSP. Let me find what line that was. All right, and I think that's it. The only other thing I could think of, and this could be, and we could go back and try it. I've spent, I think, too much time on this one function though. It could be possible that these are part of a struct, and loading that struct changes the order, like an XY position. So if somebody wants to try that, that's possibly where I would start. While I'm here, may as well fix these palettes. Not sure if our so lint fix the palettes. Should. What? Oh no, I screwed up. It doesn't work. I didn't save. That's what caused it to work. Okay, so now we have to figure out what the cause of not working is. Yeah. So bin diff is probably better. I'm going to start with diff boss, which is a little worse. And this will help identify about where the problem is. Not exactly where. So we have a bunch of offsets that are different, and so that basically shifts everything down, and then we see a bunch of things not matching. That's fine, but I don't care about most of that. I just want to get to, let's go to bin diff. I just want to get to what it was that shifted it incorrectly. Object diff actually would be good for this as well. There's sometimes odd things, and let me just check this one more time. Am I getting any compiler? Ah, look. Pay attention to warnings. That's good. I didn't update the shaft orb entity. Yes, we can do that. Time to read the GCC source, yeah. But this is MetroWorks that's failing. So there's nothing we can do about it. Oh, and I still have all these illegal elements in here too. So this will have to rebuild the world. Can I take a look at object range linter? Sure. So we've got a while that builds. Ah, let me see how it's used. Yeah, this is nicer. Yeah, having explicit range objects like this, I think is a better implementation for sure. Looking at the original one. I think that's much nicer having the data outside of the implementation. Is ranges enough for matching? What do you mean by ranges? So these particular ranges, and the reason that I put those specifically, the top one is for the PlayStation, the bottom is for the PSP. Those are global and defined in like one of the base objects. This works right now, and maybe this isn't answering the right question. These work right now because for the versions of the game that we care about, we know that those are the sorry, I lost it. We know that these are the intended ranges. What I think, I mean, so this could be, for example, this starting address, which is the start of G entities, plus that address, that address plus 256 times BC should give you the same. The Soten lint doesn't know the version and doesn't have enough context or intelligence right now to know when a version is being used. So its only context is the current line, and so there's no check, and it would add a lot of complexity as well. By the way, adding that field worked. It would add a lot of complexity to basically have to parse through every like conditional macro, if that makes sense. And we don't run it multiple times on the code either. So when you come across a D underscore variable, you don't necessarily know where that was generated, and it's possible that it wasn't even generated in the version of the game that you might be thinking that you're evaluating, because it has a symbol defined in the symbol table, so that you can reuse that symbol. So it's not even pointing at the address that you think it's pointing at. So really, this is kind of a cheap and easy way to find automatic variables that hadn't been renamed yet, but conflicted with the major versions of the game. Um, but I think address range. I mean, I think that's fine. What was it originally called? Entity range linter. Yeah, object range linter. Maybe address range linter. That might be more relevant. We don't. So when you're thinking back to like C, an object, I think of an object as like some compilation unit, not necessarily like a struct or some like runtime programmatic thing. The functionality is, I think, what's nice, but I'll let other people chime in as well. But that is actually very nice. I would actually, maybe one suggestion is to break this out actually and have a object, since it's much easier to create these objects now, have one for USG entities, PSP EUG entities, because then we can add them for HD as well. It's less likely to come up, but it could happen as well. And then I mean, you know, we'll see how it goes. I put the range in there because it was expensive to duplicate. Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, I have a Java brain as well. I still don't know if I like the lack of inheritance. Like I definitely like the interface idea, but the fact that implementations can't be inherited is odd. So prior to Java, my background, I did a lot of Ruby and Objective-C, and they basically have the same object model. Ruby doesn't have the idea of interfaces, but in Objective-C, every object has an interface, and that interface looks a lot like a Java interface, except that's also the object definition as well. Like they're one and the same. I guess Objective-C has protocols, which are like Java interfaces. That's fair. But then you can inherit interfaces, but you can also, like, you get object inheritance through that as well. Protocols can inherit each other, but they can be used on inherited objects. I don't understand the disdain and like the forced what aggregation? That's not aggregation. Oh, what do you call structs and binding things? I forget the term. Anyway, Rust is weird. It has some neat things. Not my favorite language. Thank you for doing that work, though. I think it's been an hour and a half, and I went super long yesterday, so I'm gonna end this. So we did get that function done. Super excited. Composition, thank you, Guest 73. I appreciate it. Vocab goes out the window. I appreciate it. I'm glad we got that done, worked through it. Thank you for sitting through kind of not terribly exciting, but ultimately satisfying conclusion to a relatively long function. What do we have left? I think we still have not quite 100. No, actually more than 100. Do I have this? Yes, I do. Just gonna look at the func.us. That doesn't tell us necessarily how many are unique. 35. We finished out this 3E8. That I think that's what we were working on. So we got one of the bigger ones done, and the rest should be straightforward until we get to the top one, which will be a pain in the butt, and it'll take maybe a little longer. The others I'm hoping are only about a day or so in length. All these bottom ones, we should be able to do 4 or 5 of those a day, I think. So 2-3 weeks maybe for the unique things left in Richter, minus the cutscene one that I still haven't figured out. You can go to soten.z.dev to learn more about the project, and I will catch you all next week. Adios.